So now we're going to look at how we can solve word problems using rational equations. So in the other lesson, we had talked about how we can solve rational equations, and we're going to do the same thing here. The difference is that now we're going to create our own equations. So instead of being given the equation and then we solve it, we're going to have to write the equation first and then solve it. When we're dealing with word problems that involve rational equations, there's two main types that we're going to see. And this one is the first type that we'll see, and I call this the working together problems. Working together problems are kind of just that. They're two things, two people that work together to do a task. And the main idea behind this is that we want to write each person or thing as a fraction, and the fractions are going to consist of being the number of jobs as the numerator and the time as the denominator. So when we look at this problem, Ria can paint a room in 4 hours. So we want to rewrite Ria as a fraction. So Ria can paint one room in 4 hours. So the number of jobs would be 1 and the time would be 4. Destiny can paint the same room in 6 hours. So Destiny, she can paint one room, so that's one job, in 6 hours, so over 6. And then we want to know how long it takes for both of them if they're working together. So together, they will be able to get one room done, so one job, in, we don't know, X hours. That's what we're trying to find. So if Ria and Destiny are working together, we're going to figure out how long it takes. So Ria, who's 1 over 4, plus Destiny, who's 1 over 6, has to equal them working together. So the two individually added together gives you the total together. So Ria plus Ria plus Destiny equals together. So we have our equation. Now that we have that, we have to figure out what our LCD is. So we have 4, 6, and x as our denominators. So here our LCD, the lowest common denominator, should be 12x. Now if you didn't use 12, if you, let's say, use 24x, that's fine. Your final answer will just be simplified again. So if you use a number that's not the lowest, it's not the end of the world. You just have to simplify it more as you go. So we always want to look for the lowest. So again, like our last lesson, we're going to multiply everything by that common denominator, which is 12x. So I'm going to take 12x and I'm going to multiply it to the first fraction, so times 1/4. The 12 and the 4 can reduce and become 3, so we have 3x. Then the 12x times the 1/6. The 12 and the 6 will reduce to 2, so this is going to be 2x. And then 12x times 1 over x. The x's will cancel out, and we'll be left with 12. So now we have 5x is equal to 12. And then we have to divide both sides by 5. So we get x is equal to 12 over 5. And if it makes more sense for you to write it as a fraction, or a decimal, sorry, this would be 2.4. And because it's a word problem, we want to make sure that we label it with the proper units. And this would be our time, which is in hours. So we have 2.4 hours it'll take them to do it together. If we look at this problem, here we have, instead of people working together, we have pipes. So we have a pipe that's filling an empty pool in 8 hours. So same idea as that fraction that we have. We're going to have the number of jobs on the top, and we're going to have the time it takes on the bottom. So this pipe can fill an empty pool, so one pool, in 8 hours. And then there's a drain. So we have the drain, and the drain can empty the pool in 12 hours. So one pool in 12 hours. How long will it take the pipe to fill the pool if the drain is left open? So again, together, we're going to have one pool that gets filled in, we don't know, so we're going to call that X. So we have the pipe and the drain working together, but the difference here is that the drain is emptying the pool. So instead of adding the pipe and the drain, we want to take the pipe and subtract the drain. So we're going to have our fractions as 1/8 minus 1/12, and that's going to be equal to 1/x. So we want to just pay attention to what's happening in the problem. So if it's people working together, we're going to add them. But if there's something like this where two different things are happening, there's filling and emptying, we have to take into account the signs. So now we have 8, 12, and x as our denominators. So again, we want to find that LCD. So in this case, we're going to use 24x. Okay, if you use something else besides 24, that's higher than that, that's fine. Just make sure that the end is going to be reduced anyway. So I'm going to take that lowest common denominator of 24x. I'm going to multiply it to each fraction. So 24x times 1/8. The 24 and the 8 are going to reduce to 3. So I have 3x. Then I'm going to take 24x and I'm going to multiply it by this negative 1/12. The 12 and the 24 will reduce to 2. So this is going to be minus 2x. And then I'm going to take the 24x times 1/x. The x's will cancel out, and we have just 24. So now 3x minus 2x, we get x is equal to 24. And don't forget to label it. This is hours. So even though the pipe can fill the pool in 8 hours and the drain can drain it in 12 hours, if the pipe is filling it as the drain is emptying it, it's going to take 24 hours for that pool to get filled. Okay, so here we have another working together. So we have Carlos, and he can do a job in 12 hours. So we're going to have Carlos, and he's going to be 1/12. And then Destiny, there she goes again. She's just really into working. So Destiny, and with the help of Destiny, they do it in 5. How long would it take Destiny to do it long? Well, we don't know how long Destiny takes. So Destiny can do one job in, we don't know, X hours. But we do know together that they can do one job in 5 hours. So now we just have a different part that we're trying to find. We're still trying to find the variable x that's in the denominator, but now instead of it being in the together equation, it's going to be on Destiny. Okay, so same setup. Carlos plus Destiny equals together. So 1/12 plus 1/x equals 1/5. Okay, so again, look at your denominators, 12x and 5. We want to find our LCD. So here we're going to use 60x. Okay, so again, I'm going to take that LCD and multiply it to everything that I have. So I'm going to do 60x times 1/12. So again, the 60 and the 12, they're going to reduce to 5. So this is going to be 5x. 60x times 1/x. The x's are going to cancel out, and I'm just going to have 60. And then 60x times 1/5. The 60 and the 5 are going to reduce to 12. So I'm going to have 12x. So now I'm going to subtract my 5x to the other side. So it's minus 5x minus 5x. So I'm going to have 60 equals 7x. and then I'm going to divide by 7. So x is going to be 60 over 7. And again, we can get this as a decimal since it's a word problem. So 8.57. And then don't forget to label it. It's time, it's hours. So 8.57 hours. It will take Destiny to do it on her own. Now for this problem, we can set it up a couple of different ways. So you can stuff envelopes twice as fast as your friend. I know it's a very exciting job that you have, and it's a great talent that you have that you are stuffing them faster than your friend. So together, you can stuff 6,750 envelopes in 4.5 hours. How long will it take each of you working alone to complete the job? So here it's a little bit different because there's two things we don't know. There's how long it takes you and how long it takes your friend. So there are a couple ways that we can set this up. So if you are stuffing it twice as fast as your friend, that means that you're faster than your friend. So we can use 6,750 as the number of jobs, but that's a huge number. So we can just say one job is the 6,750 envelopes. So we can say that you do it one job in X hours. Because your friend is slower than you, they're twice as slow because you're twice as fast. So if you do it in 5 hours, it's going to take your friend 10 hours. So your friend would be 1 over 2x. And we know that together, you can do 1 in 4.5 hours. Okay, so this is one way to set it up. If this confuses you, having like the denominator be bigger, like be different and be like x and 2x, you could also, so I'm going to put, let's do this in a different color. The other way you could do this is you could think about, because you're twice as fast, you can get 2 jobs done in x, and your friend could get 1 job done in x. So since you're faster, you can get double the amount of work done in the same time. So you can either choose to do it the blue way or you can do it the purple way. Together would still be the same. It would still be 1 over 4.5. So it's up to you what makes more sense. If the x and the 2x is confusing, then just think about it as the number of jobs. So since you're twice as fast, you can do double the work in the same amount of time. So either one, you're either going to do the blue plus the blue equals the blue, or purple plus purple equals purple. Either one, it doesn't matter, but the setup is going to be the same. So I'm going to go back to the blue, because that was the way I originally did it. So I would do 1 over x plus 1 over 2x equals 1 over 4.5. So my LCD, my common denominator in this case, I'm going to make it 9x. So I'm going to multiply everything by 9x. So if I multiply 9x times 1 over x, I'm going to cancel out my x's and I just have 9. And then if I multiply 9x times 1 over 2x, the x's will cancel, and the 9 over 2, I'm going to make that 4.5. And then I'm going to do 9x times 1 over 4.5. So the 9 and the 4.5 are going to reduce to 2. So then this is 2x. So now I can add 9 and 4.5, and I'm going to get 13.5 is equal to 2x. And then I can divide by 2, and I get that x is equal to 6.75. Now notice in this question that they want us to solve for both you and your friend, so how long would it take each of you? So for you, since you do it in x, because we're looking at the blue, you take 6.75 hours. 5, 7, 5 hours. And then your friend, because your friend takes twice as long as you, 2 times 6.75 is going to be your friend, which would be 13.5 hours for your friend.